Dear friends, I'm back at last. Doors closed. Please, I'm instructing my editor to close the doors. Stroke my whiskers and begin. Now, it's been a while. It always is. There's always a terrible gap between the last time and this sort of time. Today, I'm going to make you rat. Short for ratatouille, rat. So, I have a wok. As you know, I'm cooking a wok because it's just more comfortable. Notice my ingredients all kindly laid out. Now, though there is alcohol, though there is wine, you can do this just as well without wine. In fact, in a way, it tastes nicer without it, but I put it in there just to give it a bit of oomph and gumph. Now, you have a little bit of olive oil there, just a tiny little smidgen of olive oil. You have a teapot full of water. I actually had cold tea in here, and I wanted to use that instead of water, but my daughter said no. But you could, I think you could, if you wanted to jazz it up, make it a bit more exciting, you could put cold tea in instead of water, I think. But I haven't done that, so if you do it and something comes out, let me know. A tin of tomatoes, aubergine, beauteous, and some courgettes of various types. Look, I mean, what's the difference between that one and that? A little bit of garlic, branching out and being very brave and actually cutting an onion for you because it does make it a bit more tasty. Now, and then you have a couple of packets of tomato puree. Now I'm drinking a cup of ginger tea, which is actually just hot water poured on ginger root and then drunk to give it a little bit of strength. Okay, so let's go for it, shall we? A little bit of olive oil, last bit of this lovely olive oil, into the wok. It's not really that much, but just a symbolic gesture. Although I might just find a little bit more if I can. Yeah, here's a little bit more olive oil, because olive oil is a lovely, lovely base at the beginning of any cooking dish. Just splurge in the olive oil. Right, now let me cut, without sort of causing any accident, the onions. And you see, while the onion is frying, I can cut the other things. So there we are. I'm squidging off the edges of this gigantic onion. So I'm therefore cutting up the onion as small as I can, and it's not a nice job, but I'm doing it for you and for the taste of the dish. So there we are. This is pretty well cut up, and it all goes splurgy-wurgy into... Sorry, Carly. Luckily there was no oil in that one. It all goes in there, and I now put this on the open flame. Please note, I don't wear an apron anymore. I just find them, pretentious. So I wear what I've got, and this is what I had this morning. Stripy. I am stripy today, and by chance I'm stripy, because I never really think, am I stripy, am I spotty, but today I'm stripy. And I have a lovely thing around my neck which is blue and white, and you should never go anywhere, either in the Middle East or in the Far East, without one of these, because they're so useful. I use it as a turban, I roll it around my neck, I lie on it, I put it behind my back. Very useful garment. And then I have a pair of rather stripy, if I could get my legs right to the top, but I can't, I have a pair of stripy socks, so I am very stripy today. I have a rather tiring knife, because it's not that sharp. I hope your knives are sharper than mine. And it's a bit cakey, because it's been cutting up lovely walnut cake, but don't wash your knives. Again, save water. And so it's just got a little bit of walnut at the edge of it, but that'll add to the taste of the ratatouille. And now I'm cutting, can you see, in sort of moderate slices. No, not slices, what you call them, wedges, I suppose. And it's quite fun because I go dashing along. I don't like cutting, as you know, and then I go like that. Can you see that? And that's a masterpiece of whatever, engineering, I would call it. And I produce that bit. So that gets cut next. I hope the onions are working out nicely. Yes, I think they are. Just keep a little bit of a check. This is ratatouille, or rat as we now are calling it, is a dish which literally cooks itself. It's a dish for the busy woman, somebody who hasn't got time to watch it. So I've got the 2 aubergines. We're really doing a generous, because you're there, quantity of aubergine. What is an aubergine? It's an eggplant. What is it? What's its origin? Why was it created? Was it created for rat, or was it created for some other purpose? I don't know. It's a lovely, soft, intensely attractive piece of vegetable, I suppose you would call it, although it's something more than that. It seems magnificent, I would call it. Total magnification. And for my young fans, and I seem to be getting younger and younger fans, which is absolutely terrific. Not that I'm against the older ones, but the older ones are a bit more snooty about my productions because they've got more experience about cooking, I think. But I'm now going to cut the easier thing. Always do the difficult thing in life first, remember? Something difficult, do that first, and then do the easy thing afterwards. Fall in love and then marry somebody. Fall in love is... No, actually, fall in love is easier than marriage, isn't it? Anyway, whatever. Very easy falling in love. Whether you can cook or not, for that matter. I fall in love with all sorts of characters, but I don't think I'm going to tell you all about them today. I don't think that would be right. Not with such a young audience. There's a bit of an oniony smell filling the kitchen, actually. It's certainly something lovely. Of course, cut the edges off. And you can give those to Dog. Dog will love those. And she's really a vegetarian dog in many ways. Poor thing, she's vegetarian and she has those stupid little, what do you call them? They look like bits of wood. But they're what she eats or what we give her. Pity. Should be giving her something much more exciting, like a whole bowl of rat. She'd love that. So, as we can see, we're in the cutting process now. Right, so there we are. We've cut up the zucchini, arrabali, courgette, you name them, whatever they are. And then we are going to actually really, really branching out this time with a bit of garlic. It's a bit fiddly to peel, so don't worry about over-peeling it. And then just cut up a little bit so that the whole atmosphere will be a bit more garlicky and have a little bit more of an oomph. I mean, I just find it very fiddly cutting garlic, so I often just put the whole clove in and then somebody chokes on it and the dish becomes less popular. Might be why this dish has reduced in its popularity recently, I don't know. Anyway, you are going to bring it back to the cutting edge. I've been very busy recently because I've launched with some very good friends something called a podcast. And so I've been podcasting away. And somebody said the other day, are you an engineer or something? I don't know, they thought I was an engineer. And I said, no, I'm a podcaster. And I thought, what a lovely definition. So I will go to my grave as a podcaster, or as a cook, whatever you choose, but quite pleased by the new definition. You know, one's always seeking, when one's younger, especially if you have children, and you are quite intelligent, or you've done several degrees or whatever, you don't want to be defined as a mother, which is stupid, because being a mother is lovely, but you want to be defined as something else. So I was always trying to define myself as something. Or people would ask me, what do you do? And I didn't want to say that, I just changed nappies or cooked masterpieces. And so I would be busy fledging around for something that I did. But now I know I'm a podcaster. Now I'm just going to do something a little bit wild, and that is take off my famous scarf because I'm finding it too hot. So there we are. That's the beginning of the decline in appearance. Sorry about that. Now, what one does now is one prepares the offerings that one's going to pour in there. So it's terribly simple. So you've got your tin of tomatoes and your tomato puree. Now what you do with your tomato puree, because you're preparing everything, you're being very professional, and you pour it into your teapot. Why teapot? It's just simply that I get my water here, not out of the tap, otherwise I just do it through the tap, but out of a dispenser. And I find that dispenser extremely difficult to cope with. So I've got this water in the teapot, and into this teapot I am pouring about a packet, it's a little bit more than a packet, of tomato puree. Now, spoon. So stir, and this is why a teapot of this size, you see, a teapot of this size is ideal. You see, you've got 3/4 of a teapot full of water, okay? And now, for those of you who drink, do this, and for those who don't, and there are some of you who don't drink alcohol but have it in cooking. So just add a little bit of wine in there because it does give it a bit of oomph. It doesn't do much to it, you can easily do without it, but for those of you who would like a little bit more. And then you put your salt into the teapot. You see, there we are, salt in, smidgen of salt, and then you put some pepper in there. I was going to put basil in, but I was stopped. So you've got a lovely teapot full of water, salt and pepper, and tomato puree. Anyway, with a wooden something or other, I dash the onions round in a very professional manner, and then it's so simple, this dish. I put the aubergine in. I hope this wok's going to be big enough for all this stuff. It's quite a dramatic quantity. I think I'm going to, friends, I think the wok, we're going to have to call it, sorry, I've overcooked. So just one aubergine, one large aubergine, the rest I'll save for another dish. And then all those courgettes. So I think there were about 5 or 6 courgettes, weren't they, big and small, but I just realised there's not enough room in this wonderful wok for what I'd planned. Sorry, you know, how can one be perfect on quantities? Luckily I've got a dog to eat the spare courgettes. So there we are. Basically, fill up your wok with the most fantastic vegetables. What one should do is just pour the teapot full of water into a pan. And there we are, all done. Don't forget to wash your teapot out quite well afterwards if you want a good cup of tea. Or perhaps you don't. If you don't worry. Then put it back on the heater and let's warm that water up. It's that tomatoey, winey water. I don't want it to be too warm. Can you hear it's making a noise? Isn't that lovely and satisfying? I don't know why it's making such a noise, but it is. And when it's a little bit warm, just not cold. I don't want cold water to be put on the ratatouille, on the rat. I'm getting a bit tired of waiting already, but let's chat, why not? Yes, I'm doing this podcast with my beloved friends. It wasn't my idea, it was somebody else's idea. But it's really taken off, it's gone viral. So I've been so busy. And Rwanda, which is a I've got my fans in Rwanda. Well, they're now starting to listen to the podcast as well. So on the television, I said, people are listening to this podcast as far away as Rwanda. So that's rather cheerful. So hello, Rwanda, and hello, all fans everywhere. But by the way, when I was on the telly, somebody said, the host, the chat show man, very brave he was, interviewing 3 women together. In the Ministry of Information. But anyway, he said, this is Lavinia Davenport, YouTuber. So I felt, gosh, I'm a YouTuber. So if anybody asks me, I can say I'm a podcaster and a YouTuber. So, right, so I think I'm getting tired of waiting, and I'm going to go backwards and get my lovely pot of just slightly less than cold teapotty water. See how lovely it is? Isn't that beautiful? Let me take the teapot out of the way so you can see what a lovely, pretty, mixture, reddish, deep red, and it smells absolutely lovely. So you're pouring that all over. And, miraculously, as with all my cooking, it fits. So you see what you do with this, and this is really, really lovely. This is for those of you who are writing books. Those of you who are doing greater things than I'm doing, cooking and podcasting and YouTubing, and then you can go off and write your book for 20 minutes. I shall go off and try and write something for 20 minutes, and then I'll come back and check that it's cooked. So don't bother about it, but don't put it on a high flame. So there we are. You get your spade or whatever it is, and make sure it's in there, and why not put a little bit more salt in? But be very careful with salt that the whole thing doesn't buzz off, and a bit more pepper. And then literally you put it, you don't need to cover it up. But you could cover it up. No, I think it would be nice if you've got some sort of cover-upper. You put the cover-upper on top of the wok and you leave it, literally. Great, people. Now, I think... Crumbs with me glasses, I can't see. Basically, darling friends, I've been writing my book, you've been writing your books, and we've come back 20 minutes later, and happily, the ratatouille, the rat, has been perfectly cooked. Absolutely scrumptious looking bit of rat, and I'm sure it tastes absolutely lovely. I will taste it. It's a bit soupy. There's plenty of broth, plenty of everything in it. Look how lovely. And it really does taste delicious. Look at that, steaming delicious. Gorgeous. Of it. So, and the sauce tastes very nice and rich. And not a bit teapotty. So enjoy. Goodbye.